He is awesome. And his team, he's got a whole team of people behind him. They're awesome. I don't know when they started doing this, but they help people protest their property tax appraisals. It's a pretty easy process, but they have made it so super simple. I did it a few weeks ago. You go online and you fill in some information, and they do it for you. And they have helped so many people. They do it for free. I don't know why they do it for free, but they do. In his bio, it says that he just really enjoys helping people, and I can attest to that because I'm one of the people that he helped. He sponsored a forum a couple of Saturdays ago out in my neighborhood, and I went. It was at the Heritage Church of Christ, if you're familiar with that, and we nearly filled that sanctuary. There was like 300-400 people there. It was just amazing because everybody's up in arms about property tax. So he's going to share with us a little bit about property tax and how to protest your appraised value. Chandler Crouch.
What's up, y'all?
I'll tell you what's up. Property taxes. The guy that's keeping time, I don't think he's in the room, so we're all in trouble. But you, oh, okay, all right. I didn't bring my timer here just in case. And I brought this stack. Oh, okay, that was your seat. I got you. I thought it was outside giving blood. All right, y'all. Well, we're just gonna go to class here. Okay, so I'm just curious, who has begun the process or already protested this year? I'm just curious. All right, so 20% maybe? I don't know. So for the rest of you, I'm going to have two different messages. One message, you can pretty much just close your ears if you're one of the, if you're in the rest of the crowd that didn't raise your hand, okay? Because this is what I want to tell you. Okay, so everybody gets freaked out about protesting their property taxes, and everybody rushes to get a bunch of stuff done by the 15th, which is tomorrow. Okay, and you should be in a rush to do something, but you don't have to run out and get comps pulled and get a bunch of photos and get quotes and all that tomorrow. All you have to do tomorrow is take that blue notice that you got in your mailbox and turn it over and check 2 boxes on it and send it in. Just fold it up, put it in your mailbox, and let the postal guy pick it up, and he'll put the date stamp on there, and then you can get to work, okay? So that's the biggest thing that I want you to take home tonight, because this is the night before the protest deadline. So that's really all I wanted to get up here and say, is you should protest. And it's as easy as just getting that form, turn it over, checking a couple boxes, put it in your mailbox, and you're done, okay? So you've got to do at least that much. Does that sound good? Can you do that?
Amen.
Amen. All right. I dig it. So here's the second thing. If you want to get adventurous and you're comfortable with technology, then I've got a way for you to knock out the whole thing in about 5 minutes. Now this solution, I've got 2 solutions. I got plan A and plan B down this particular road. So this solution is going to go away at 5 o'clock tomorrow, okay? If 5 o'clock hits and you still want to protest, there's going to be a post office in Dallas that's right off of I-30, close to downtown, that you can still take your letter to. Let's just hope that's not the one I'm going to tomorrow. But I don't know why I'm looking at this. I've got all this stuff memorized. It's like a comfort blanket or something. A lot of really smart people in this room. I know you're going to... and I heard Ron Wright, I watched the recording when Ron Wright spoke in here. Man, that guy is awesome. I endorse him too. He's a really good guy. All right, so back on topic. Go to get your notes out. If you haven't protested, I'm going to give you the 5-minute solution, okay? This is the one that I would probably do, to be honest with you. I would go to tad.org. In the upper right corner, you're going to click the button that says Log In, okay? Then a little menu is going to open up. You click the button that says Create an Account. Okay? After that, you've got to fill out some information, and then you'll be taken to the next screen. The next screen is going to have 2 blanks on it. The answer to those 2 blanks is going to be on your blue form. Did anybody bring their blue form with them today? Anybody? Hold it up. Got 1? Got 2? Going once? Going twice? Right there. So on your blue form, in the upper right corner, there's a PIN number. That's one of the things that you need to put in one of those blanks. In the upper left corner is your account number. You put that in the blank. Okay? So you create your account, takes you to the next screen, you input your account number, your PIN number, you find those on your blue form, you click submit, then it will say that you've added your property. Okay? After you've added your property, you just click on the button, and then you click protest my taxes. It'll take you to another screen that has 3 numbers on it. The top number is your market value. That's the number that you're going to be protesting. That's the number you want to get down. That's the only number you can protest, because that's their opinion of what they think your house is worth. And since it's an opinion, you can have a difference of opinion. And they say fairness is they let you dispute that. That's through the protest process, okay? So the other 2 numbers below it are what they think you're, this is weird, okay? The top number is what you're protesting. The bottom 2 numbers is the evidence that they're going to use to back up their number, which are completely separate numbers from the number that they're sticking to you, okay? So here's the secret. Those bottom 2 numbers, one is called the sales indicated value, the other one is called the equity indicated value. You just pick the lower of those 2 numbers, and you multiply it by, the number I would use is, I would multiply it by 0.97. So in other words, I'm taking 97% of the lower of those 2 numbers, and then I click the button that says protest, or I put that number in the blank, and I press submit, and then you're done. Basically, you have to sign the thing, and you click a couple other buttons to confirm, and then you're done. You don't have to wait. You get to see if your protest amount was accepted or rejected. You click the button, you type your name in, and you're done. Okay? I made that sound way more complicated than it needs to, but I promise you, if you've got your blue notice in hand and you know how to get to tad.org, and you click the login button in the top right, this whole process is going to take you about 5 minutes. Does that sound easy? If it doesn't, then I will help you for free. Okay? I'm not trying to get your business. I'm doing it for free. You can go to my website, chandlercrouch.com/protest, and that form will take you 5 minutes as well. You don't have to have your PIN number. If you don't have your blue form, you can still fill out my form. I extended the cutoff for me until 10 a.m. just for this group. If you want my help, you fill it out before 10 a.m. tomorrow, then I will protest for you. Okay? All right. So I mentioned that you've got to file your protest by the 15th. And then I also mentioned, get in a rush, put the thing in your mailbox. Okay, so everybody that I'm helping this year, they're a little confused on a couple things. One is that they think that they've got to get all this data together. Well, filing the protest and completing it are just 2 separate events. If you're going to take the blue notice and put it in your mailbox and go that route, you need to check 2 boxes on it. The 2 boxes is you're going to protest saying that the market value is incorrect. The bottom below it, the box right below it, you're going to say that it's unequal compared to your neighbors. Okay? So you check both of those boxes, and then you relax and then call a realtor or start taking photos of your house and take photos of all the issues involved, and I'm going to go over that in detail here in just a second. But that's it. Okay, so if you haven't filed your protest, that's all you need to hear right there. Okay? Who's filed their protest and they're waiting for their hearing date, or they're waiting to receive their hearing notice in the mail? Okay, that's for the other folks. And for all the other folks that didn't raise their hand that haven't filed yet, some of you will probably need to go these advanced methods. Okay, so I'm going to go into detail just a tad on that. Does that sound good? All right. Well, I tell you what, I'm not getting a lot of enthusiasm, so I'm happy. What I was thinking was, I can talk about property tax stuff all day long and get excited on a very weird level about property taxes. But, after this event that Fran was talking about, I stood up in the front and I said, you know what, I can stand up there and talk or I stood up there and just answered question after question after question for probably, 2 or 3 hours. And I was using a microphone, so every question they would ask me, I'd read out loud, and then I'd answer out loud. So no 2 people asked the same question, and I was like, my gosh, this is just endless. So I'm going to answer some questions. I can go into detail about how to protest your taxes. If you're going to go do the informal protest or the formal protest or whatever, I can go into detail and explain how all that's organized. But I don't want to sit here and talk about a bunch of stuff that you guys don't care about.
Please go into detail.
All right, well, I will here in just a second. But I know this. This is a group that understands the the weight of politics and how it affects our day-to-day lives. And I've seen the weight of that very strong, very just right in front of my face. I'm having conversation after conversation of how our political decisions have affected your pocketbook and how it relates to property taxes. Okay, and I'll tell you this. I don't know much about. I trust Julie for my political stuff. She puts out the list of who to vote for, and I would vote for that. I wish I could vote for the Julie party ticket. That's what I would do. Whatever she said, that honestly, that's what I do. Because I just keep my blinders on and I do my thing. And she was heading down the Tea Party path. I was like, man, God bless you. That is an awesome thing. You're doing exactly what I want to do, but I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to go down a different path, but that's it. But I'll tell you this. So I'm sitting there fighting people's property taxes and hearing about these problems, and I thought, you know what, I love helping people, but I don't love just, putting a Band-Aid on it. I'm going to protest for you this year, and then guess what? I'm going to protest again for you next year, and I don't make any money out of it, so I want to solve the problem permanently. So what I did is I called up a guy that our wives have. Our wives don't just have children, but our children go with our wives. They play together. They're in the play group, mom's group, and they play together. And I said, you know what? He's a state representative. His name is Matt Crouch. We mentioned him earlier today. I just said, hey, yeah, absolutely, cool guy. I tell you what, there's a God-fearing man that stands behind what he believes, and he makes decisions behind what he believes, no matter what. And he can take the heat. Love hearing him take some criticism because he handles it with grace and wisdom. But anyway, I sat down and said, hey, can you eat lunch with me and explain to me how this political process goes and how can we change this process for good? And so he gave me like the political 101 overview. And it was awesome. It was a complete just download of the whole process. And I said, okay, so last year I helped about 3,200 people. This year it's going to be about, right now it's about 6,800. And I said, here's the list of all the problems that I've seen in this process. And I'm not hearing any of the politicians talk about this list. I made this list unique. The problems that I identified just through my own experience. And I said, and I've got some proposed solutions. He said, well, let me read it. So that's when I started eating, and he quit eating the barbecue dinner. And he read it, and he's like, you know what? I like these ideas. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to just put my staff to work, and we're going to write a bill. Right there in that lunch, he said, I'm going to write a bill, and I'm going to see how many of these things I can incorporate. And out of that list, he's going to incorporate 6 bullet points off that list. And I'll tell you what, I don't know politicians. Julie's the closest thing to a politician I know. And I don't know. I'm like, you're going to write a bill based on this? I was like, this is the weirdest lunch I've ever had. But man, that's awesome. So I kind of waited to see. Sure enough, he's going through this process. So, but I'll tell you what, let me just give you a couple problems. One, I don't know of another system that is set up more unfair to you guys. You've got a system where they pick what they think your house is worth, and then they send you a notice in the mail, and you've got to go prove them wrong. Okay? In the property tax code, it says the burden of proof is on them, but that's not the way it actually works in reality. The way it works in reality is if you don't do anything, then that's the value you're stuck with. So to me, it's kind of like you're guilty until proven innocent. And then to protest, what you've got to do is you've got to start becoming, you've got to get a little education in real estate and appraisal and negotiation in a very short window. And then what most people think you have to do, because there's not a lot of information out there that says otherwise, which by the way, appraisal district takes a lot of heat, which they should, but I will also say this, I'd rather be in Tarrant County than any other county because they still do it, as bad as they do, they still do it better than every other county I've seen. This automated protest thing, I told you it takes 5 minutes, I haven't seen another county that does that. That's awesome, okay? But here's the deal. Most people don't know that exists. They think you have to go down to the appraisal district and bring your evidence and then argue with them and go toe-to-toe. Guess who you're going to their facility. If I set up a negotiation and I wanted to win, guess where they're coming? My office, right? I'm going to sit behind my desk. I'm going to crank up the seat a little bit, look down at them, and we're going to do this. Well, that's what they're doing. That's why they set it up. And guess who you're talking to behind the counter? A licensed appraiser. So you've got a nurse, or a teacher, or a doctor, or an engineer come in trying to figure out, they just know it's wrong. They don't know anything else. They just know it's wrong. And then they've got to convince a licensed appraiser that they're right. Just that dynamic right there alone is crazy. Now I'll tell you this. Okay, for you ma'am, I will go. And actually, I will stay after to answer as many questions. I was going to stop right now and do question and answer, but I'll give you the kind of the overview of how to fight these things. So do the automated thing or fill out my form, but if you don't do those things, here's the other path you can go down, okay? Yes, sir?
Could you slowly, how do we get in touch with you?
Me? www.chandlercrouch.com/protest.
Could you spell that out?
ChandlerCrouch.com/protest. Okay, so if you want to go down and fight toe-to-toe with these people, here's what you need to do. There's an offensive and a defensive strategy. The defensive side, the path that I told you to go down to do the automated thing, in Tarrant County, you go down that same path. When you get to the screen with those 3 numbers, off to the right, there are 2 buttons that say View Sales Comps or View Equity Comps. Click those buttons and download them. Okay? So then you take those and you go drive by the houses and you take a look at them. You see if they look anything like your house. If they don't look like your house, then that's something you're going to make a note of. What your goal is going to be to do is to take the comps that they're using as evidence against you, and you're going to try and discredit those comps. Or you're going to try and say that because there's something about those properties that basically prove that your property should be less. Okay? So maybe one of their properties is adjacent to a golf course, and yours isn't. You can say, look, I understand this looks like a good property. Same square footage as mine. It's built about the same time. It's in the same neighborhood, but my property isn't next to the golf course. Therefore, my property has to be less than that property. So that's the kind of logic you use. Or you can just say, this looks nothing like mine. It shouldn't be used as evidence against me. Okay? So that's the defensive strategy. It's my favorite. If you go in there and you've done your homework and you've taken the time to drive around and take photos of those houses, then you're going to probably present to them right off the bat that you're in a different league, and they're probably going to start leaning in your favor already. The other thing is the offensive strategy. That's where a realtor can come in handy. It doesn't matter who you use. If you use a different realtor, tell them to call me and I'll teach them how to do it. You'd be surprised how many realtors are asking me to protest for them. You know, it just goes to show it's just how much information is lacking out there. So I'm making a training program for them. But so on the offensive side, you need 2 different things. One is sales comps from a realtor. And for just a second, for those of you that has anybody not heard the word comps before? Okay, a lot of people don't want to raise their hands. That's cool. I'll tell you anyway. So comps, it's just comparable sales. So the theory is they think your house is worth about what somebody would be willing to pay for other houses nearby that are similar to yours, that have sold recently. And they say, if they paid that for those other houses, they'll probably pay something decently similar for your house. So that's comps. Those are sales comps. Okay, so you need to get your comps. The other thing you need to do is start gathering data to show them that the house is not in as good of condition as they think it is. Okay? Now here's the big catch nobody tells you, is that they don't care about carpet or paint or landscaping or fencing or any kind of cosmetic issues, which is, if you add up all those things on any one of your houses right now, unless you just bought it or just built it, then you can probably come up with 10 grand worth of those cosmetic issues, which I think is a big problem, and I've asked Mr. Crouch to consider putting that in his bill. Everybody should just get a 1% deduction just because of that, because they're comparing you to houses that have all been dolled up and somebody spent that money. Right? But anyway, all right, so it's 2 different things. Ways that you fight the condition. One is by taking photos of your property. Take photos of all the issues in your house. And then the other thing is to get quotes from contractors. Okay? If you get quotes from contractors, they will just deduct the cost of whatever that repair quote is from the value that they're proposing. And they're going to have no way to refute this stuff. The place you find the contractor is angieslist.com. And the reason why, because on the reviews, it shows how much the cost of the job was. The reviewer goes on and they say, my job was $50, or my job was $1,000 that this contractor did. And you want to go with the ones that charge $1,000 as opposed to the ones that charge $50. And you know, as an ethical thing, you want to just open your mind. You don't want to call them out on anything that you would never intend on actually repairing. And you might want to be upfront with them about why you're doing this stuff. And they might actually cut you a bone and just mail you an estimate or something based on your photos. Who knows? But anyway, so that's the basics of it. There's a lot more. I could go on and on. The event that Fran was talking about, I think we sat up there like, I don't know, 6 hours or something ridiculous. My staff went home at 2:30.
I left after about an hour.
Well, there you go. I'm going to stay after and answer questions all day long. I've only got a minute left, so we've got one that can be wrapped up in a minute. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Haven't received that beautiful blue form.
If you haven't received the blue form, then there's a couple reasons why. Either you're going to get one, there's probably a reason why you didn't get one, or your property value didn't change. If your property value didn't change, or for whatever reason you didn't get a form, you still should protest. You absolutely should protest. And if your entire neighborhood protests, it's going to help you. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
I protest, I sent in for 2 different properties to you.
Okay. Okay.
I do think I got an email back about that, but when will we know if we get a reduction in?
Well, so the strategy last year that we took was the instant answer, the automated strategy. This year, the numbers didn't look as good on that angle, so we're going the informal route. So we are filing all the protests before the deadline, but we don't know when they're going to schedule us for a hearing. We're going to try and go in beforehand, just like I would advise everybody to do
We'll
it
just get another email.
before July 20th.
Okay,
That's all. I
thank
mean,
you so much.
yeah.
This was awesome.
Absolutely, you got it. Hey, thank you guys so much. If you have questions, I'm hanging out after.